Hello, and welcome to Every Day is Funny, the meditative morning show about newspaper comics. And yesterday was a biggie. It was episode 50. And now we're all set to break off a new 50. So thanks to everybody for listening. This would be the perfect time to like all the pages, get up to date, share the show, and let's get it going again. Something I did want to talk about that felt like a very good cross-section of the meditative and the silly as we break off a new 50 is yesterday I was in the middle of my Zoom therapy session, and I was talking with my therapist about ways to kind of remain present, center yourself, calm down sort of exercises. And she was leading me through one. And she asked me to close my eyes, which perhaps I'll ask you to do here. Let's get back to the meditation side of this podcast. Close your eyes. And she asked me to think of a place that I had been to in life that brought me just total comfort and relaxation, and to imagine myself there. And I'd love for you to do the same. Imagine what spot you've been to in your life that gives you the most calm feeling. And I thought about it for myself. And a category of place came to mind. Not a specific, it was more like a grouping of 2 or 3 places. And it was just the first thing that came to mind. So she said, where are you imagining to be your most calm? And I said, friends' basements growing up. And so I want to kind of step back and just give an ode, a shout out to the friends' basements of the world. Like, truly, what a different mindset you're in when you're growing up and you're in a friend's basement. My home growing up did not have the furnished basement. And I grew to really understand the importance of the basement. Because, you can make the case for like Treehouse as its equivalent. But Treehouse does not have much to do. The electricity's not getting waved through there. So you're just kind of chilling, which is fine. But it doesn't really feel like it's part of the house. The basement, when friends occupy a basement, it's as if you kind of own that part of the house. It's as if you've staged some sort of coup. And you made a line in the sand and you got everyone to agree that you will at least hold court in this one room. This one room will be yours. Because friends' parents never really hang out in the basements. The basements are kind of built for the child. And it's just such a beautiful room where you hold court and everyone just chills out. The furnished basement to a youngster is better than any treehouse, I believe. Any pool setting, any school playground. The environment, everything just shifts. It's kind of like Alien. In a friend's basement, no one can hear you scream. You can pretty much just do whatever you want down there. I hope you found that place as well this morning. And I hope you come back to it if you're ever feeling stressed out during this day. Doesn't have to be a friend's basement, but think about it. They're fun. All right, let's get to the comics. I kind of wanted to mix it up as we enter episode 51. Go off the beaten path with the comics we're choosing. All right, we're going to start with some Close to Home, which I believe has been around for quite some time and is described as just a mix of everyday settings and extraordinary events. So, silly moments. Let's check it out. Wow, a frightening image to start our day off here. A couple is at a pool. A man is reading the paper in a chair nearby, and a woman is screaming because she sees a massive beetle in the pool, human-sized, maybe even bigger. She screams, "Don't just sit there, get the skimmer, get the skimmer." Man, that is fun. That's pretty funny. It's really funny that the author said "get the skimmer" twice. That is just like very self-aware. That's just good comedic writing there to say it twice. Skimmer's not going to do nothing for you there, though. That thing is massive and menacing. It's not just that it's a big bug in a pool. It looks like it's like tapping its claws together, like hoping she'll jump in and he'll just devour her. I love how the husband is just kind of like chilling there unfazed, as if, oh, you know what, it sounds like maybe he set this beetle in there. I'm gonna guess something to do with life insurance money is on the table here, because he looks like he placed that beetle in the pool. Who sits that close to the pool to read the newspaper? You don't need to be that close, and water splashes around when people are in pools. The newspaper is primed to get soggy as heck. It's just not a good idea. Also, the most non-bouncy looking diving board. That thing looks like it's made of complete stone. There's just a lot going on. I know my focus should be on the beetle. On the massive monster beetle. Good Lord. Let's move on to another newbie that apparently has been around for decades. And it's simply called non sequitur. So I think this is going to speak for itself, but let's take a look. All right, we see two kids playing. One is kind of that classic nerdy look. Then there's a girl who kind of has like a young gothy vibe going on. She seems cooler. The nerd is near an invention of his called the space-time defibrillator. Okay, so just when in history did you want to go, Danae? She says, I'm not exactly sure, Jeffrey, but I want to go back and see what the world was like when people weren't so stupid and annoying. They share a blank stare at each other. He says, and that time would be? She said, I don't know, can't this thing do a time travel Google search? He says, only for reality. That's funny. It's cheeky. There was never a time in history when people weren't stupid or annoying. Is that true? I would say, like, when we invented fire, it was pretty smart for such limited resources. I know we couldn't like communicate to the same extent, but they, she might be right about annoying. They were killing each other with stones and sticks. All right, Danae's got a point. That is kind of a nice comment, though. It's like usually you see like, why can't this day be like this time? You know, it's people yearning for a specific time period that is just romanticized to them. But there's something nice about non sequitur kind of claiming like, hey, there was never a good time. Like, that sounds like it would be disheartening, but in fact, I think there is something kind of comforting about that. Every time sucks. But then in the same respect, because of that, there are moments that are great. I like you, non sequitur. All right, Rex Morgan time. Yesterday, Corey, Parker, and his friend were talking about the bully situation, and the friend was trying to offer some emotional maturity advice. We see they're still in the middle of this conversation. Their friend says, bullies don't come from nowhere. He's likely got a lot of anger built up over being mistreated himself. Parker says, thank you, Dr. Freud. I feel for the kid, but I still don't want to be his punching bag. The friend says, not excusing his behavior, just trying to explain it. Parker says, now explain to me how I get him to leave me alone. And Parker's doing that classic, like 2 hands on his cheeks. Kind of like, now explain to me. Man, I like this friend. He's just kind of chill. You would think he would maybe get more involved when the bully's around, since he has so much to say about it and a lot of theories. And yet when the bully is here, he just kind of like goes into the shadows and then waits to just explain the entire situation once he's gone. So there does seem to be a bit of cowardice to that. But he does have a very good bird's eye view on the situation and likely where the bully's coming from. This is a boy with some nuance that I think the rest of the world lacks. Trying to explain why a bad human being is bad. Which, as we can see in the scenario, could get you into a lot of trouble just trying to, sympathize and make the attempt to understand. But this kid's going for it. And he's drinking a strange beverage as well that I can't quite pin down what that might be. But I do think that this kid should take these enlightenments and bring them to the actual conversation. Try and mediate between the bully and Parker. Don't just sit as it's happening and then comment afterwards. You have the knowledge. Help Parker out. He's been being beat up for like a week now. And you're just now like throwing in some little insights. Come on. Alright, let me think of what to comment. Alright, this might be the stupidest comment I've ever come up with. But the friend said bullies don't come from nowhere. So I'm gonna play off of that and comment. Bullies don't come from nowhere. They get dropped off by the bully stork when they're babies. We have to kill the bully stork. That's gotta be the stupidest thing I've said on this website so far. Send. Alright. Time to wind down for this Tuesday, June 18th. I hope you have a lovely day. Again, close your eyes if you're ever in need today. Close your eyes. Think of a calm place from your past and imagine yourself there. And do a little deep breathing and just try and place yourself in that setting as much as possible. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Here's to Friends Basements. And remember, every day is funny.